Have you ever wondered why, even with all the modern medicine, advanced hospitals, powerful drugs, and brilliant scientists around the world, cancer still remains one of the hardest diseases to defeat? Why is it that something so tiny, cells inside our own body, can grow out of control and become so difficult to stop? And if you're a senior watching this question becomes even more important, because as we age, the risk of cancer naturally increases. Today, I want to talk to you about something most people don't fully understand. We hear about cancer all the time, but very few people truly know why it is so difficult to kill. And once you understand this, it might completely change how you think about your health, your lifestyle, and the small daily habits that protect your body. Think about this for a moment. Your body is made up of trillions of cells. Every single day, these cells divide, grow, repair damage, and replace old cells that die. It's an incredibly complex and beautiful system. Most of the time, your body controls this process perfectly. Cells know when to grow, when to stop growing, and when to die. But cancer begins when some of these cells stop following the rules. They begin growing uncontrollably. They ignore the signals that tell them to stop. They refuse to die when they should. Instead, they multiply again and again, forming a mass that we call a tumor. Now here's the first shocking truth that many people don't realize. Cancer cells are not foreign invaders like bacteria or viruses. They are your own cells that have gone rogue. That means the immune system often struggles to recognize them as enemies. Your immune system is excellent at detecting viruses, bacteria, and other harmful invaders. But cancer cells are much trickier. Because they originally came from normal cells in your body, they can disguise themselves. They hide in plain sight, making it extremely difficult for the immune system to destroy them. And this is one of the biggest reasons cancer is so hard to kill. But that's only part of the story. Another reason cancer is so difficult to treat is that it constantly evolves. Imagine trying to catch a criminal who keeps changing their appearance every time you get close. That's exactly what cancer does. As cancer cells grow and divide, they mutate. These mutations change their behavior, making them stronger, faster, and sometimes resistant to treatments that once worked. Doctors may start treatment with a drug that successfully kills many cancer cells, but some cells survive, and those surviving cells may develop resistance. Over time, the cancer becomes harder and harder to treat. For seniors, this becomes even more important to understand. As we get older, our cells have gone through many more years of exposure to environmental stress, toxins, inflammation, and natural wear and tear. Each year of life increases the chance that small genetic mistakes can happen inside cells. Most of these mistakes are harmless, and the body repairs them. But sometimes, the repair system doesn't work perfectly. When that happens, damaged cells may begin the slow journey toward cancer. Let's talk about something fascinating that scientists discovered about cancer cells. Normal cells in your body have a built-in lifespan. They can only divide a certain number of times before they stop. This is like a natural safety limit. But cancer cells break this rule. They activate special mechanisms that allow them to divide endlessly. In simple terms, they become almost immortal. Instead of aging and dying like normal cells, they continue multiplying. That's one of the reasons tumors can grow so aggressively. And here's something that may surprise you even more. Cancer cells can actually recruit help from nearby cells. Instead of being isolated, they manipulate their environment. They send signals that encourage nearby blood vessels to grow toward the tumor. These blood vessels bring oxygen and nutrients that feed the cancer, helping it grow larger and stronger. Scientists call this process angiogenesis. Think of it like building new roads to deliver supplies to a growing city. Without those blood vessels, tumors would struggle to survive. But cancer is clever. It creates its own support system. Now let's talk about why early detection matters so much, especially for seniors. Cancer often grows silently in the early stages. There may be no pain, no obvious symptoms, and no clear warning signs. By the time symptoms appear, the disease may already be more advanced. This is why routine checkups and screenings become extremely important as we age. Simple tests like colon screenings, mammograms, prostate checks, and other medical exams can detect problems before they become life-threatening. Catching cancer early dramatically increases the chances of successful treatment. But even with early detection, treatment can still be complicated. Traditional treatments like chemotherapy and radiation work by targeting fast-growing cells. Cancer cells grow quickly, so these treatments try to destroy them. The problem is that some healthy cells also grow quickly, such as hair cells and cells in the digestive system. That's why people undergoing treatment often experience side effects like hair loss, fatigue, and nausea. Modern medicine is working hard to develop smarter treatments that specifically target cancer cells while protecting healthy cells. One of the most exciting developments in recent years is immunotherapy. Instead of attacking cancer directly, immunotherapy helps the body's own immune system recognize and destroy cancer cells more effectively. In some patients, this approach has produced remarkable results. But even with these advances, cancer remains a complex enemy. Another factor that makes cancer difficult to eliminate is something called metastasis. This is when cancer cells break away from the original tumor and travel to other parts of the body through the bloodstream or lymphatic system. When cancer spreads to vital organs like the lungs, liver, or brain, treatment becomes much more challenging. A small group of wandering cancer cells can start new tumors in distant locations. This ability to spread is what makes many cancers life-threatening. For seniors, maintaining overall health becomes a powerful defense. While no lifestyle change can guarantee complete protection from cancer, certain habits can significantly reduce risk. Eating a balanced diet rich in vegetables, fruits, whole grains, and healthy fats provides the body with essential nutrients and antioxidants. Regular physical activity improves circulation, strengthens the immune system, and helps regulate hormones that influence cell growth. Sleep is another factor that many people underestimate. During sleep, the body performs important repair processes, including fixing damaged DNA in cells. Chronic sleep deprivation may weaken these repair systems, allowing damaged cells to accumulate over time. Stress also plays a role in long-term health. Constant stress can trigger inflammation in the body. Chronic inflammation has been linked to many diseases, including cancer. That doesn't mean stress directly causes cancer, but long periods of uncontrolled stress may contribute to conditions that make the body more vulnerable. Now here's something that many seniors don't realize. Your immune system does not simply disappear as you age, but it does become less efficient. This process is sometimes called immune aging. When the immune system slows down, it becomes less effective at detecting abnormal cells early. This gives cancer cells more opportunity to grow unnoticed. That's why maintaining immune health is so important. Nutritious food, regular movement, proper sleep, and staying socially connected all support immune function. Let's also talk about environmental exposure. Over the course of a lifetime, the body is exposed to countless chemicals, pollutants, and harmful substances. Tobacco smoke, excessive alcohol, certain industrial chemicals, and prolonged ultraviolet radiation from the sun can all damage DNA inside cells. When DNA damage accumulates, the risk of cancer increases. For seniors, avoiding harmful exposures remains just as important as it was earlier in life. Quitting smoking, limiting alcohol, protecting skin from excessive sunlight, and maintaining a healthy weight can all contribute to long-term protection. Scientists often describe cancer as a disease of aging. That doesn't mean aging automatically leads to cancer, but the probability increases with time because cells have had more opportunities to accumulate genetic changes. Think of it like a long book being copied over and over again. The more times it is copied, the greater the chance that small errors may appear. But here's the encouraging news. Even though cancer is difficult to kill, the human body also has powerful defense systems. Many potential cancer cells are detected and destroyed by the immune system before they ever become dangerous. Our bodies are constantly fighting microscopic battles that we never even notice. Medical research is also advancing faster than ever before. Scientists are studying cancer at the genetic level, identifying specific mutations that drive tumor growth. This knowledge allows doctors to design targeted therapies that attack cancer cells more precisely. In some cases, these treatments have transformed once deadly cancers into manageable conditions. Another promising area of research involves early detection through blood tests that search for tiny traces of cancer DNA circulating in the bloodstream. These technologies may one day allow doctors to detect cancer years before symptoms appear. For seniors watching today, the most important message is awareness. Understanding why cancer is so hard to kill reminds us that prevention and early action are incredibly powerful tools. Regular medical checkups, paying attention to unusual changes in the body, and maintaining healthy habits can make a huge difference. Sometimes the smallest symptoms deserve attention. Unexplained weight loss, persistent fatigue, unusual lumps, changes in bowel habits, or sores that do not heal should never be ignored. Many of these symptoms are not caused by cancer, but it is always wise to consult a healthcare professional if something feels unusual. Your body often sends signals when something is wrong. And remember this, growing older does not mean losing control of your health. Many seniors live vibrant, energetic lives well into their 70s, 80s, and beyond by making smart daily choices. Staying active, eating nourishing food, keeping the mind engaged, and maintaining strong social connections all contribute to longevity and resilience. Cancer may be a difficult opponent, but knowledge is one of our strongest weapons. The more we understand how cancer works, the better we can protect ourselves and support our bodies. Scientists around the world continue searching for new treatments, new prevention strategies, and new ways to detect cancer earlier than ever before. Each discovery brings us closer to a future where cancer becomes far less threatening than it is today. So if you are a senior watching this, remember that your health journey is still in your hands. Small habits practiced every day, what you eat, how you move, how you rest, and how you care for your body, create powerful effects over time. Your body has been protecting you for decades. With the right care, attention, and awareness, you can help it continue doing that for many years to come. But there is another critical piece of the puzzle that many people rarely hear about when discussing cancer, and understanding it can completely change the way we think about how tumors survive and grow inside the body. Scientists call this the tumor microenvironment. In simple terms, this means that cancer does not grow alone. It grows within a neighborhood of surrounding cells, tissues, blood vessels, immune cells, and chemical signals that interact with the tumor every second. Instead of being isolated, cancer becomes part of a complex ecosystem inside the body. And this environment often protects the tumor, feeds it, and helps it resist treatment. Imagine planting a seed in the ground. A seed cannot grow by itself without soil, water, nutrients, and sunlight. In a similar way, cancer cells depend on their surroundings to survive and expand. The tumor microenvironment acts like fertile soil that allows cancer to grow stronger over time. Without this supportive environment, many cancer cells would struggle to survive. Inside this microenvironment are many different types of normal cells that the tumor begins to influence. These may include fibroblasts, immune cells, blood vessel cells, and connective tissue cells. At first, these cells are normal and healthy, performing their usual jobs inside the body. But as the tumor grows, cancer cells start sending out chemical signals that manipulate these neighboring cells. Slowly, the surrounding cells begin helping the tumor rather than fighting it. This cooperation between cancer and nearby cells is one of the reasons tumors become so difficult to eliminate. For example, certain cells known as fibroblasts normally help repair damaged tissue. When you get a cut or injury, fibroblasts help rebuild the tissue structure and support healing. But in the presence of cancer, these fibroblasts can be reprogrammed by tumor cells. Instead of helping normal healing, they begin producing substances that strengthen the tumor's structure and support its growth. Scientists often call these altered cells cancer-associated fibroblasts because they start working for the tumor instead of the body. These fibroblasts release growth factors and proteins that act like fertilizer for cancer cells. They help tumors grow faster, invade nearby tissues, and survive harsh conditions. They also change the physical structure around the tumor, making it easier for cancer cells to move and spread. Another important part of the tumor microenvironment involves blood vessels. As tumors grow larger, they need more oxygen and nutrients to survive. A tiny cluster of cancer cells might survive on nearby resources, but a larger tumor needs its own supply network. Cancer solves this problem by releasing chemical signals that encourage the formation of new blood vessels. These vessels grow toward the tumor and deliver a steady flow of oxygen and nutrients. This process is known as angiogenesis, and it allows the tumor to expand far beyond its original size. The new blood vessels also create pathways that cancer cells can use to travel through the bloodstream and spread to other organs. Inside the tumor microenvironment, immune cells also play an important role. Normally, the immune system protects the body by identifying and destroying abnormal or dangerous cells. When cancer first begins developing, immune cells may try to attack and eliminate the abnormal cells. In many cases, the immune system successfully destroys potential cancer cells before they ever become a serious problem. But cancer is extremely adaptable. Over time, tumors learn how to manipulate immune cells in their environment. Some tumors release chemicals that weaken the immune response or confuse immune cells so they no longer recognize cancer as a threat. Other tumors attract specific immune cells that actually help protect the cancer rather than destroy it. For instance, certain immune cells called macrophages normally help clean up damaged cells and fight infections. However, in the tumor microenvironment, macrophages can be transformed into a different type that supports tumor growth. Instead of attacking cancer, these altered macrophages release growth signals, reduce inflammation that might harm the tumor, and assist in building new blood vessels. This means the very cells that are supposed to protect the body can sometimes become allies of the tumor. Another feature of the tumor microenvironment involves the chemical signals that circulate between cells. Cancer cells constantly communicate with their surroundings using small signaling molecules. These molecules act like messages that instruct nearby cells what to do. Some signals encourage surrounding cells to produce nutrients. Others tell immune cells to stay away or remain inactive. These chemical signals also create conditions that make it harder for treatments to work effectively. In some cases, the environment around the tumor becomes physically dense and tightly packed with proteins and connective tissue. This dense structure can act like a barrier that prevents medications from penetrating deep into the tumor. Imagine trying to water a plant when the soil has hardened into solid clay. The water cannot easily reach the roots. In a similar way, cancer drugs sometimes struggle to reach every cancer cell because the tumor microenvironment forms protective layers around the tumor. Another surprising aspect of the tumor microenvironment is the role of inflammation. Inflammation is a natural response the body uses to fight infection and heal injuries. When you get a cut, the area becomes red and swollen as immune cells rush in to repair the damage. Normally, this inflammation fades once healing is complete. However, in the presence of cancer, inflammation can become chronic. Long-term inflammation creates a constant flow of chemical signals that may actually support tumor growth. Some inflammatory molecules encourage cell division, increase blood vessel formation, and create conditions that allow cancer cells to survive under stress. For seniors, chronic inflammation can become more common with age due to various factors such as long-term health conditions, environmental exposures, and changes in immune function. This ongoing inflammation may contribute to the development of a tumor-friendly microenvironment. The tumor microenvironment also affects how cancer spreads to other parts of the body. As cancer grows, the surrounding tissues begin to change. The structure of the tissue becomes looser, making it easier for cancer cells to move through it. Enzymes released by tumor cells and nearby supportive cells can break down the surrounding tissue barriers. Once these barriers weaken, cancer cells gain the ability to enter nearby blood vessels or lymphatic vessels. From there, they travel through the body and may settle in distant organs such as the lungs, liver, bones, or brain. When these traveling cells arrive in a new location, they begin interacting with a completely new microenvironment. Interestingly, not every environment allows cancer cells to grow successfully. Some organs provide conditions that help cancer thrive, while others are less supportive. Scientists sometimes describe this process using the idea of seeds in soil. Cancer cells are the seeds, and the organs they spread to act as the soil. For metastasis to occur, the soil must provide the right conditions for the seed to grow. This shows once again how important the surrounding environment is for cancer survival. The tumor microenvironment also changes over time. In the early stages of cancer, the environment may still contain many protective immune cells attempting to stop the tumor. As the tumor evolves, it gradually reshapes the environment to favor its own survival. Protective immune responses weaken, supportive cells increase, and chemical signals create a more favorable space for cancer growth. These changes can make treatment more complicated because doctors are not only fighting cancer cells themselves, but also the supportive environment that surrounds them. In recent years, scientists have started developing treatments that target the tumor microenvironment rather than focusing only on cancer cells. Some therapies aim to block the signals that tumors use to create new blood vessels. Without these blood vessels, tumors may struggle to obtain enough oxygen and nutrients to grow. Other treatments attempt to reawaken the immune system so it can recognize and attack cancer cells again. By changing the signals within the tumor microenvironment, these therapies try to shift the balance back in favor of the body's natural defenses. Researchers are also studying ways to break down the dense protective tissue that forms around some tumors. If this barrier can be weakened, medications may be able to reach cancer cells more effectively. The tumor microenvironment is incredibly complex, and each type of cancer can create a slightly different environment around itself. Some tumors rely heavily on blood vessel growth. Others depend more on immune suppression or chemical signaling. This is one reason why different cancers behave so differently and require different treatment strategies. Understanding the tumor microenvironment has become one of the most important areas of modern cancer research. By studying how cancer interacts with its surroundings, scientists are learning how tumors survive, grow, and resist therapy. For seniors especially, awareness of these processes highlights the importance of maintaining overall body health. The environment inside the body is influenced by many factors, including diet, physical activity, inflammation levels, and immune function. While these factors cannot guarantee prevention, they play a role in shaping the conditions within our tissues. Healthy habits help support balanced immune activity and reduce chronic inflammation, which may influence how cells behave within the body. Regular movement improves blood circulation and supports the delivery of oxygen and nutrients to tissues. A balanced diet rich in natural foods provides vitamins, minerals, and antioxidants that help protect cells from damage. The body is constantly renewing itself, repairing tissues, and monitoring for abnormal cells. The internal environment created by daily habits influences how well these processes function. Scientists continue exploring how the tumor microenvironment forms and how it can be disrupted. Each discovery helps reveal new strategies for slowing tumor growth, improving treatment effectiveness, and supporting the body's natural defenses against cancer.